Coming up on CBC Vancouver News.
We fought well in the second half. I think that's what matters, right?
Historic moment for Canada. First time in the World Cup knockout stages. Let's go.
Canadian soccer fans remain optimistic after a hard-fought battle at BC Place ends in a loss. Plus,
when you find out that it's not only market pricing, but what looks to be well over market pricing, that's a lot of the where the anger comes from.
High rental rates at the new Sanok development in Vancouver sparks online pushback. And
I looked over and a coyote had my dog in its jaws.
A Vancouver man calls for action after coyote snatches and kills his chihuahua near Trout Lake.
This is CBC Vancouver News.
Hello, thanks for joining us. I'm Janella Hamilton. A heartbreaker of a loss for Canada at the World Cup Wednesday, falling to Switzerland with a score of 2-1 in the team's final Group B matchup. The CBC's John Hernandez has all the details from downtown Vancouver where the game unfolded.
It was a nail-biter right until the very end. Canada falls 2-1 to Switzerland in a tightly contested matchup. The crowds at BC Place and at watch parties in Metro Vancouver as well as Toronto were absolutely buzzing from the kickoff onwards. A very closely contested first half of the game that saw Canada pick up momentum right up until the end, but Switzerland really came on strong to start the second half, scoring 2 unanswered goals, and that really sucked the air out of the rooms, particularly here at the Canada House in North Vancouver. The crowd became quite quiet, but then enter Promise David, who scored a goal in the second half for Canada, bringing the team to within 1 goal of tying Switzerland, but ultimately fell up short. The team did rally in those final minutes of injury time, had some shots on target, but couldn't get one past the Swiss goaltender. Fans, though, still proud of what the team has accomplished up until this point at these games in Canada.
Yeah, it was not the result that we expected or wanted, but actually it was a good game. We fought well in the second half. I think that's what matters, right?
It's a good one. It's a historic moment for Canada. First time in the World Cup knockout stages. Let's go.
Proud to be Canadian. They played really well. They put the pressure on, and we're still top 2 in the group.
We're happy we're moving on.
So there won't be any more games for Team Canada in their home nation. They will now move to Los Angeles to play on Sunday in the knockout stage of the tournament. John Hernandez, CBC News, North Vancouver.
StubHub, the online ticket resale site, is facing thousands of complaints from angry fans demanding refunds. A CBC News investigation has found the company canceled mass numbers of tickets to World Cup matches across North America. As Dave Seglins reports, it's often happening just hours before the game time.
It was to be a dream event for Christmas. Tickets to watch Canada versus Qatar on home soil in Vancouver. Good enough to pay StubHub $11,000 for a pair of prime seats.
I made the decision to go through StubHub because there was numerous articles about fraud websites pretending to be scamming tickets.
But StubHub never delivered the tickets. He frantically contacted them weeks, days, hours before the game.
We stayed up till 4 a.m. trying to get this problem solved.
But like for thousands of other fans across North America, StubHub at the last minute canceled the tickets. No explanation, no replacements.
We're talking about StubHub FIFA World Cup ticket fiascos.
This industry podcast host has collected legions of similar stories.
So we're witnessing at massive scale one of the biggest collapses in the history of ticketing.
StubHub blames FIFA and its app, which is required to enter stadiums, while FIFA has told fans not to purchase from third parties and referred all questions back to StubHub. This music industry manager says StubHub is renowned for not delivering.
People are selling tickets that they don't actually have.
like recent concert tours, Oasis and Olivia Rodrigo, where speculators offered ghost tickets for sale, and when it came to the day, resale websites failed to deliver.
We need to ban speculative ticketing for one. Selling something that you don't have should absolutely be illegal.
In Vancouver, Mark Gallagher is still fighting StubHub for his $11,000 refund, but he says he's speaking out, hoping to do more than just recoup his money.
It's so wrong because emotional stress and anxiety they put you through is unmeasurable.
StubHub says it's investigating and will honor its money-back guarantee. Dave Seglin, CBC News, Toronto.
The Sanok development in Vancouver listed new rental rates for some of its larger units, but after online pushback, that information has been removed from their website. As Michelle Gassoub explains, if you want 3 or 4 bedrooms, prepare to pay big bucks.
How much would you pay to live in the Sanok development? New floor plans show 3-bedroom apartments listed between $9,000 and $10,000 and a 4-bedroom unit for $12,500. But after a slew of negative comments online, that information disappeared from their website.
330 square feet. The plan shows a balcony, but this 11th floor unit doesn't have one.
Suraj Rai is a real estate broker who toured the development. His videos attracted criticism over the size of some units.
The affordable housing angle was pushed on it, and when you find out that it's not only market pricing but what looks to be well over market pricing, that's a lot of the where the anger comes from.
In a statement, Sanok says the pricing reflects a sample of market rental rates and that the numbers would be live on their website again soon. 20% of the units have been set aside as affordable homes, but the project has become a focal point for many frustrated Vancouver renters.
I think it's really talking about the great expectations that's put upon a project like Sanok, and at the same time, in an environment through which there are many renters who are struggling in the City of Vancouver as well as metropolitan Vancouver.
Rai says in his comment section there are many critiques, from awkward floor plans to a lack of parking. Still, he says it will be desirable for many renters.
The location is top-notch. The views from the units that are facing the water and mountains are great. I just think it's the case of they're overshooting the rents and causing a firestorm.
Michelle Gassoub, CBC News, Vancouver.
BC's anti-gang task force says it has seized drugs, cash, and guns from a years-long investigation into alleged interprovincial drug trafficking. The Combined Forces Special Enforcement Unit of BC says the investigation included multiple search warrants across the Lower Mainland, including in Vancouver and Surrey.
Today's seizure represents a significant blow to organized crime operating in British Columbia. Some of the drugs seized in this investigation were destined for northern communities and were actively being trafficked throughout the region.
Police seized $1.5 million in cash, about a dozen long guns and 4 handguns, and multiple kilograms of cocaine and methamphetamine. 4 people were arrested. Investigators say charges are anticipated. A Vancouver man is calling on the city to do something about aggressive coyotes near Trout Lake. As Edziu Lovren reports, he feels the coyotes pose a risk and should be culled.
It was at this popular East Van dog park where a typical evening dog walk went horribly wrong. Travis Olson says his beloved Chihuahua Lulu was attacked and killed by a coyote last weekend.
I heard, ooh, a squeak, and I looked over, and a coyote had my dog in its jaws.
The attack happened at John Hendry Park near an off-leash area. Olson says he didn't see any signage warning pet owners about coyotes. This dog owner agrees signage is needed.
Coyotes they're everywhere now. Oh, maybe put up some signs, tell people to be aware, like if they know, like some people don't even know there are coyotes around.
Olson wants to see the city do something about the coyotes. He thinks they pose a risk and should be culled.
It's not just because my dog died. It's because of how close and how brazen the coyote was. And yes, I think that when there are aggressive coyotes, that those aggressive coyotes should be culled.
The BC Conservation Officer Service says it works with the city to mitigate wildlife conflicts, but adds there are no plans at this time to reduce the coyote population. The agency says it plans to put up signage at the park after several reports of coyotes acting aggressively towards pets. One dog trainer says people can protect their pets by using certain tools and being aware of their surroundings.
And there are other secondary sort of defenses. You could carry an air horn.
Vancouver Board of Parks and Recreation warns dog owners to stay vigilant, be big, bold, and loud if a coyote approaches you, and to keep dogs on leash outside of off-leash areas. Edzi Ulevrin, CBC News, Vancouver.
The BC Wildfire Service says a wildfire burning near Lytton is now under control. The Thompson-Nicola Regional District and the village of Lytton have now lifted all evacuation orders and alerts, and a stretch of Highway 1 that had been closed due to the wildfire has reopened. Steve Jung is here with a look at our weather, starting off with some of those dry or wetter conditions that are coming, Steve.
Absolutely, Janella. It looks like some relief is on the horizon for BC as we are expecting more showers to form over the province, especially in the coming days. We can see over Thursday and Friday more of these showers, especially Thursday evening and into the early hours of Friday morning. Some more showers forming over BC, including here in southern parts of the province where we haven't got very much as we get through that dry and hot spell that we are just getting past now. And as we get to Saturday and Sunday, we'll see more of these systems form over BC and bring some more rain to other parts of the city, as to the province, and cover large parts of BC, almost the entirety of it. And as we take a look at accumulations, it looks like we're expecting more rain than we initially expected. We can see accumulations as we get to Saturday of up to 24 millimeters in Metro Vancouver, 19 in Abbotsford, and some more accumulation in other parts of the province as well. Hopeful sign for sure. We'll get into that and the 5-day later on in the show.
All right, thanks so much, Steve. The Salvation Army in Nanaimo is set to start moving people into its new building soon. The new Hope Center extension will include a commercial kitchen and 34 shelter beds. The organization says the building will help fill an urgent need in the city. Marie Seidler has more.
The rooms are bare and the hallways could use some decorating, but Bern Muller is proud to show off this space.
This is one of our dorms. The dorms in our facility are different sizes to promote social interactions.
This building is an extension of the new Hope Center in downtown Nanaimo. It's been 4 years in the making. Muller says it will provide greatly needed services for the mid-Vancouver Island city, including 34 new shelter beds.
I think that the 34 beds are a very impactful number because they are a transition. They're a place for people to come in, to land, to receive supports, and to hopefully move in a trajectory towards wellness. That's a really, really important impact within the city's homelessness situation.
This new building includes new offices, counseling rooms, and even a patio.
There will be a gazebo installed tomorrow, and then there's a bit of an outdoor garden space on the top.
But for Muller, the crown jewel of the building is this new location and dining space. Soon it will offer 3 meals a day to a total of 68 guests, as well as coffee and soup in the afternoon for folks dropping by.
So the kitchen in a home is kind of the heart of the home. And in our facility, this state-of-the-art commercial kitchen will be producing food for all of our registered guests.
The guests at the current building are also excited about the new facility.
Kind of feels like Christmas, honestly.
Troy Myers has been living at the New Hope Center's original location since February. He says the 34 new shelter beds won't go to waste.
It's definitely a need. You can see it when you walk through the streets. There are lots of people that are a little more hard off than they should be.
Muller says he expects to get the building's occupancy license by the end of June, allowing the Salvation Army to help those in need for years to come. Marie Seidler, CBC News, Nanaimo.
The 2 biggest cities in Greater Victoria have hit a roadblock in a planned vote to see if they should merge as one municipality. Find out why after the break. The two biggest cities in Greater Victoria have hit a roadblock in a planned vote to see if they should combine as one municipality. As Justin McElroy reports, the province says more details are needed, further extending a debate that has been part of Victoria politics for generations.
Amalgamation. It's a fancy word for merging neighboring municipalities together. In Greater Victoria, the debate is almost as old as the city itself, and every decade there is another push to reduce the number of municipalities for a pretty clear reason. Here is a chart. The Capital Regional District has more people than any municipality in British Columbia other than Vancouver or Surrey. But it's not one municipality, it's 13, 90% of whom are within an hour drive of one another. But in recent years, voters in the two largest municipalities, Victoria and Saanich, have made clear that they want to see the government take the issue more seriously. In 2014, voters in both municipalities said yes to studying the issue, but the BC Liberal government mostly refused to. In 2018, voters in Victoria and Saanich again approved spending up to $250,000 for a citizens' assembly to study it. But because of the pandemic, nothing happened for many years. But last year, that citizens' assembly did happen. Their members recommended that merging Victoria and Saanich into one municipality was the way to go. Staff prepared for a binding referendum question as part of this year's elections to decide once and for all, and the province said no.
So it was disappointing and frustrating to hear that we can't have a binding referendum.
That is Saanich Mayor Dean Murdoch. He was recently told by the government that they won't give the green light to a referendum question this year. In a letter, Municipalities Minister Christine Boyle said the province would have to be in a position to consider ordering a binding vote once additional technical work has been completed to support informed decision-making. She went on to say that that would include detailed analysis of financial, governance, and service impacts of amalgamation, along with provincial consultation with local First Nations. Saanich Council met on Monday to discuss the letter for the first time, and they weren't pleased.
I think it is a showing of disrespect, and I think we deserve better.
I think it disrespects our public. I think it disrespects this council. Having said that, we are where we are.
To push this out even further to 2030, I think would be untenable. That's a 12-year gap between questions on the ballot.
But that seems like what will happen. Saanich Council approved a non-binding referendum question for October. If Victoria does the same, and voters in both municipalities say yes, it's likely that those detailed studies the province has asked for would then happen over the next 4 years, which would then likely lead to a final vote. Now, you can debate whether that's the best timeline. You can debate whether Victoria and Saanich staff should have done more over the last year while they were waiting for the province to respond to them. But you can't debate that the public in Victoria and Saanich continue to say that they want to explore two becoming one, and that governments continuing to find reasons to avoid a clear vote hasn't made the issue go away. Justin McElroy, CBC News, Vancouver.
Meanwhile, Okanagan Falls is taking the final steps to become a new municipality. The province says it is issuing a letters patent to incorporate the new municipality as the District of Okanagan Falls.
There's so much still ahead for folks locally. The message that we heard in terms of wanting to incorporate was really focused on strengthening that local decision making, and that's what incorporation in the new municipality provides for residents, giving residents a stronger voice in local decisions.
Residents voted to incorporate in March of last year. The new municipality is expected to be formally incorporated by November. Elections for a mayor and council will happen in October. The ministry says it will continue to work with the local First Nation and the regional district to ensure a smooth transition. A look at White Rock, where people are enjoying the pier and the beach before the weather turns. Steve Jung joins us soon with a look at the full forecast.
We're sharing really important information with the public, and I feel like this is exactly what our job is, especially as the public broadcaster, especially in morning radio. That's incredibly important.
Venezuela's capital has been rocked by two powerful earthquakes striking just minutes apart. The quakes registered magnitude 7.1 and 7.5 respectively, collapsing buildings in Caracas and sending residents rushing into the streets. So far, no deaths have been reported. Officials warn aftershocks could still cause more damage. Memorial services are being held in Montreal for a police officer and a bystander who were victims of a shooting that scarred the city on Monday. Alexander Silberman now on the community's grief and the latest details about the gunman.
Hundreds of mourners in Montreal paying tribute to 68-year-old Michel Mizrahi. The anguish over a deadly shooting still fresh.
C'est un gars avec beaucoup de cœur.
He had a big heart, says Otiko Slan, a close friend. Mizrahi, a father and grandfather, was a beloved member of the city's Jewish community. A bystander killed in Monday's shooting.
He was at our house for Father's Day, and then he's gone.
Mizrahi is being remembered for his kindness and generosity. Originally from Lebanon, he emigrated to Montreal, where he started a clothing store.
Always positive and always joking, always smiling.
At this mosque, a private funeral was held for 34-year-old Mohammed Ladine Benredwan. Benredwan's childhood neighbor in Algeria was among those paying his respects. Benredwan moved to Canada as a young boy. It makes me very sad, says Nadir Hassan Jabala. He was like a brother to me. Benredwan grew up in this neighborhood, then became a dedicated officer here too. He leaves behind a pregnant wife and a 3-year-old son. He was a good person and very kind, he says. As friends and family grieve, a police investigation continues across 2 provinces.
It's very shocking.
In Alberta, where the suspect lived, police are now gone. Neighbors in his hometown of Lethbridge were surprised, say he came from a good family and planted corn last year. They're trying to piece together what happened.
It's strange when it's in your own backyard.
In Montreal, emotions are still raw. Anger, sadness, and pain over lives lost in an act of violence, but also a sense of unity with members from 2 faith communities determined to honor them. Alexander Silberman, CBC News, Montreal.
The federal government is looking to use its powers to expedite 3 major projects, 2 in the north and 1 in northern Ontario. It's the first time the government would use its new powers to get big things built. But as Kate McKenna reports, critics are already saying things are still working too slowly.
Federal ministers made the trek to Yellowknife to announce next steps to get big things built.
I am proud to announce today that the Government of Canada is launching the process that could lead to 3 projects, being listed as projects of national interest under the Building Canada Act.
The Grays Bay Road and Port project in Nunavut could unlock new ways to export to global markets. The Mackenzie Valley Highway would create all-year road access for isolated communities in the Northwest Territories.
Today is like a milestone for us, You know, like we've been strong advocates for our highway for many, many years.
Also on the list, a nuclear waste site in Northern Ontario.
These projects have been talked about for decades. Today we make good on a promise we made to Canadians. Less talking, more building.
But it's not that straightforward. Ottawa says it's starting the process of potentially deeming the projects in the national interest, allowing them to fast-track approvals, meaning no matter what, there's a long road ahead.
This is just more liberal process where they want to cut ribbons rather than get results. Unfortunately, though, the government just seems, for the last year, seems to have just been doing victory laps. And today's announcement doesn't forward these projects.
But fundamentally, it's creating a path of resources from their office, constant attention to federal government. They can unlock their budgets. They can help support this. They want to see the money get spent. We want to see the money get spent.
This is the first time the federal government has sought to use the extraordinary powers created by Bill C-5 that allow them to bypass some rules and regulations to get things built faster. But speaking to reporters, ministers stressed that an environmental review and Indigenous consultation is mandatory. Kate McKenna, CBC News, Ottawa.
Europe continues to swelter under a brutal heat dome, with some cities recording their hottest temperatures ever in June. Find out how people are coping next. Summer mosquito season is here, and with it comes warnings about the diseases they can carry. West Nile virus is one of them. Death from it is extremely rare, but it can happen. And that's the tragic reality for the family of an Ontario man who died after contracting it. Karen Pauls has his story and tips on how you can protect yourself this summer.
Brent Sehan loved nature, strolling through Toronto's High Park and taking photos. He just retired after nearly 4 decades when a rare infection took hold.
He celebrated with all his friends outdoors, going to patios, taking walks with them in High Park, and doing all these outdoor things, and that's the thing that got him in the end.
Last July, Toronto public health officials confirmed the first mosquitoes of the season to test positive for West Nile virus. Within weeks, Sehan felt sick with what he thought was just a summer flu, but it rapidly escalated. He died from West Nile encephalitis, a severe inflammation of the brain, one of just 9 Canadians to die of West Nile virus last year.
So the doctor was extremely shocked because it's such a rare thing to get that sick with West Nile. Like only 1% of people get that sick.
While 80% of people infected with the virus show no symptoms at all, men, older adults, and those with underlying health conditions face higher risk for severe infection.
If the virus travels to your brain or your spinal cord, it can cause inflammation, which can then lead to serious complications like high-grade fever, coma, hallucinations, confusion, and potentially even death. No vaccines exist, and there are no specific treatments.
The mosquito season has just begun, and so has West Nile surveillance.
It's typically a combination of factors like weather, bird populations, mosquito abundance, and other local environmental conditions.
Her advice for prevention? Wear light-colored long clothing, use insect repellent, especially at dawn and dusk, and eliminate standing water on your property.
Experts say climate change means disease-bearing mosquitoes will become more common in countries like Canada. Brent Sehan's family hopes their loss will be a cautionary tale for others. Karen Pauls, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Tens of millions of people across Europe are struggling to cope under a brutal heat dome. That's forcing the closure of schools, businesses, and tourist attractions across the continent. Both Paris and London have just set new record temperatures. The CBC's Chris Brown has more from the British capital.
Britain smashed its record for the all-time hottest day in June, just over 36 degrees in South England.
I'm absolutely sweating. I'm practically swimming in my own sweat, which is not pleasant.
UK officials issued an exceptional red extreme heat warning, the highest level possible, but some workers had no choice but to push through it.
Awful, to be honest. It's horrible this heat.
Hundreds of schools closed. At those that didn't, it was too uncomfortable to study anyway. Britain isn't built for the heat. The buildings are old, there's not a lot of air conditioning, so people look for relief wherever they can because the heat can be deadly.
This is our community shop.
In Hackney, in East London, Krista Brown offered her community centre as a shelter from the hot weather.
I think that with the climate changing, the way that it's changing, and we're facing more adverse weather conditions like all the time. We're also a warm space in the winter and a cool space in the summer.
Our buildings are not designed for hot weather, and so I've had to pick her up from school early, and that's because her school is from the 40s, and they've got the reception area is quite cool, but the rest of the school is like an oven.
More records are being set in mainland Europe, where an estimated 94 million people are enduring temperatures over 35 degrees. More than 50 people have died in France from the heat wave, most from drowning. Some cities have banned swimming, but many people are ignoring the order. From Switzerland to the Netherlands, animals have struggled too.
Like the asphalt gets really warm, they need to cool off, so you try to find the spots of shades because you still need to go out for to urinate and to poop.
The heat wave is parked over France and blanketing a huge area. The stifling weather may have a ways to run. Chris Brown, CBC News, London.
Scientists say climate change is causing the continent to warm at more than twice the global average, and calls are growing for more European homes and businesses to be equipped with air conditioning. But that could have a huge downside. The CBC's Anand Ram explains.
From below, Parisians deal with another day of an extreme heat wave. From above, you can see what's making that worse. The canopies of their concrete jungle are made of zinc, those iconic metal roofs becoming an oven for Parisians living inside. And the common refrain, I don't have air conditioning at home. Across France, only as much as a quarter of all households have AC. In Spain, it's higher, around 40%. In the UK, it's just 14%. But while ACs are increasingly needed, especially for the vulnerable, they're not always the ones in control.
In many places in Europe, people don't live in their own houses. They live in dwellings rented by someone else. So the ones who would benefit from it is not always the ones who can take the decision to implement it.
And there's another problem for cities. Keeping the coolness in means pumping the heat out.
In very dense city spaces, air conditioning can even it basically transports heat from the buildings to the urban environment and can create an even stronger urban heat island effect.
As much as a couple of degrees. Still, experts acknowledge ACs are needed in moderation and in combination with other solutions such as cooling shelters and greener city spaces. But there's also a wider problem. ACs running off of a fossil fuel-powered grid drive up emissions and climate change, which is what has made these heat waves more extreme in the first place. Anand Ram, CBC News, Toronto.
Steve Jung is back with another look at our weather. Is there more heat on the way for us, Steve?
No, Janella, it looks like it is quite the stark contrast between us and what we're seeing in Europe right now. What we do see in our province is the arrival of cooler and wetter weather here in BC. As we can see over Thursday and Friday, we do have showers forming over large parts of the province, sometimes scattered, but as we get to Saturday and Sunday, we'll see more of these systems forming over large parts of BC, covering almost the entirety of the province and bringing with it some much needed precipitation. And we can see that especially forming over Thursday evening and early in the morning on Friday. That's when those rains really begin arriving properly. And that is a hopeful sign as we continue watching the higher fire danger around the province. We do see moderate to high fire danger across pretty much all of BC at this time. Very, very small pockets of areas that are under low fire danger rating. This is a huge change, even just from yesterday, where we do see growing pockets of areas under extreme fire danger rating. So there is a bit of an encouraging sign as we are expecting accumulations of rain over the next few days. As we get to Saturday, it's more than what was initially anticipated. We can see accumulations 21 millimeters in the Peace region around Fort St. John, 24 in Metro Vancouver, 19 in the Fraser Valley. And if we take a closer look at the South Coast, we can see 23 millimeters in Vancouver, 19 in the Fraser Valley, and some heavier accumulations in northern parts of Vancouver Island. So according to some models, what we're seeing in Vancouver is lower than what we typically see in this region for this time of year. It's below seasonal, but still an encouraging sign as we come out of a stretch of drier and hotter weather. We do see some cloud cover over much of the province for the next day, for tomorrow, and we can see the risk of thunderstorms in Fort St. John, in Prince George, as well as in the southeast, Golden and Cranbrook. So keeping this in mind, combined with the higher fire danger, always the possibility of more fire starts if these storms result in lightning strikes. But lots of cloud cover as we anticipate that wetter weather coming to our province. Let's take a look at the 5-day forecast for Metro Vancouver. Chance of showers to take us through to the end of the week. And as we start the weekend, bit of a break, mix of sun and cloud on Sunday with temperatures in the low 20s. And then there is a chance of rain and some cloud cover as we begin a new week on Monday. So it looks like that break we've been waiting for is coming, Janella.
Looking forward to it. Thanks so much, Steve.
My pleasure.
The World Cup always unleashes a global flood of team jerseys. These beacons of loyalty are a huge industry, mostly because they mean so much to the fans who buy them. Eli Glasner digs into that combo of deep feelings and big dollars.
Excuse me, guys.
Toronto photographer Robert McKaysey is on a mission.
You speak good English or no?
What is English?
I'm a photographer and I've been going around Toronto taking photos of all 48 countries.
The goal, capture FIFA fans in official team jerseys from all 48 teams.
From Germany?
Yeah.
Enjoy Toronto.
After his first post blew up with over 2 million views, the pressure's on.
Ready? Yeah. 3, 2, 1. All right, you ready? 3, 2, 1.
But somehow along the way, it's become more than content creation.
I started asking them about their country and to get to know the people, and it turned into a little bit from a jersey hunt into getting to know all these cultures from all these different places.
Like when he captured Haitian footy fans and asked them for a bit of wisdom.
If there was time for one, that's for two.
I love it, man. I love it. Off the charts vibes in there.
From fashion statement to showing your team colors, he says jerseys straddle the line.
There's the side where people want the fashion accessory, and then there's the side where people want to show their support for their country and wear their culture on their sleeves.
Even before the World Cup kicked off, fans were rating their favorite kits.
Next up is Brazil, getting a lot of hype for the first ever Jordan kit. Canada still in the mix. That is how a black kit is done.
I love the symmetrical Mexican pattern they've got going on.
Stunning. What a shirt.
As a creative director with the Inter-Toronto Soccer Club, Marchese understands what makes a great shirt.
Designing jerseys is always fun and challenging because you're balancing so many different things and you're trying to think, well, it looks nice, what's going to sell, what are people into?
But behind the explosion of colors and patterns is a branding battle worth billions, with the global soccer jersey market now estimated at $8.7 billion US. Soccer fan and sports marketing instructor Vijay Settler says for apparel companies, nothing comes close.
Unlike any other major sporting event, whether it be the Summer Olympics or the Rugby World Cup or the Cricket World Cup, it's a platform. It's a stage on which the major apparel partners, Nike, Puma, Adidas, can showcase their latest designs and their design prowess to a mass audience.
If you look at Brazil, you look at Germany, they're now synonymous with the sports brand that is on those uniforms.
No, absolutely, and that's why when Adidas's contract with Germany runs out, they're very quick to renew it because Adidas is based in Germany, and their partnership with Germany goes back decades. So for another company to come in and take those rights would be almost blasphemy.
Settler says the business of tying teams to brands is fiercely competitive.
Oftentimes, sport business publications come up with a chart, and I've seen it, where it's almost like the World Cup of jersey partners, and it shows all the, for each brand, it shows which countries they're aligned with, and then at the end, it dictates, okay, who won the World Cup of jersey partners.
In marketing, there's a term called scripted apparel, clothing made for a certain moment. But as the Cup continues, some of the most sought-after kits haven't been from the traditional soccer powerhouses, but some of the underdogs, such as the smashing yellow of Team Ghana, the striking flower features of South Korea, or the classic flair of Curacao, the smallest team to play in the Cup.
Not every team obviously is going to go far. Some teams are going to get upset early and not even make it out of the group stage. But if the design of the jersey is one that captivates people's attention, it could still have the same impact of moving jerseys as if the team were to have advanced further in the tournament.
And while the price of official FIFA jerseys creeps higher, Settler says clothing companies have a captive audience.
There are some countries whose supporters will literally pay anything, whether it be tickets to a game, flights to go see their team play, and they'll likely buy a jersey as well.
In the industry, they call it micro-moment licensing, a specific shirt made for a special moment, like a World Cup run. Back with Robert McKaysey, his Tottenham jersey, a British soccer club, led to a different kind of micro-moment.
No way, mate! Yes. You know about this?
Yeah, Tottenham, they're my team.
One fan recognizing another.
Perfect, mate. Thank you.
And another jersey checked off the list.
The Copenhagen Zoo has welcomed not one, not two, but 3 baby giraffes in the past few months. How a breeding program is helping when we return.
Hi, I'm Amy Bell, and this is your CBC Inbox. This Saturday, join CBC as the Vancouver Bandits take the court for Filipino Heritage Night. Take your shot against Michelle Elliott at the Bandits Backyard Barbecue and win CBC swag. And celebrate the soccer spirit with CBC. We've transformed the CBC Outdoor Plaza into the ultimate pre-game hub featuring music, prizes, and global flavors. Full schedule at cbc.ca/homepitch.
The World Cup has changed a lot around Vancouver. FIFA signage is everywhere. Fans are wearing their soccer jerseys. Bars and restaurants on Granville Street are often packed.
But as Lawrence Watts shows us, some people are taking the World Cup spirit a step further.
Well, the FIFA World Cup is leaving its mark on Vancouver, and for some people, that mark is permanent. Hi there, Vince.
Oh,
Welcome.
Good to see you. Thanks so much for having us.
My name is Vince Sobrino. I am the manager here at Rocky Mountain Tattoo, Vancouver. We've only been open for 4 months, but I believe this is the 4th location. It started out in Lethbridge, so we're fairly new, which is super nice to, for FIFA to happen so soon.
The timing's pretty incredible.
Oh man, I could not ask for anything better. We really love seeing all different cultures pop into the studio. So seeing how the community gets together and seeing all the love, all the sportsmanship, even though it's very competitive, pour out on the streets, it's such an amazing thing to see.
What have the last couple weeks been like for your business?
Hectic, but in a good way. Tourism has spiked, especially in this part of town. I think we've gained probably almost close to 300 followers the last, I would say 4 days.
And Rocky Mountain is not alone. Just down the street, another tattoo parlor says the World Cup is bringing more fans through its doors.
I'm David Nixon, the owner-operator of Adrenaline. I would guesstimate that it's been about 10 to 15% bump. You know, the patios in the restaurants I could see are packed at all times. We're just happy to try to help create that even better experience for people. We've been taking walk-ins and tattooing all people from all around the world, doing some really fun ones. And we're excited about the time right now because it reminds me of back in the day in 2004 when the street was more lively. We're open till midnight every day, trying to be involved in the crowds and in the liveliness.
Tell me about some of the tattoos you've seen people asking for.
We've had some people coming in, probably 5 Australians get the same kangaroo. We had one the other day, it was a tequila bottle for Mexico. Another special piece that we had was a bear with a maple leaf in it.
Born in Brazil on the butt, or we did a tattoo that said 6-0 just for the Canada score from the second game.
Some of these people walk away with these pieces that feel so special to them, and they go back home to their home countries and they're like, man, we got this in Vancouver, we got this in Rocky Mountain. And to represent Vancouver to the whole world and to wherever they go after they finish their journey here, it's something that will always stick with us forever as a client, as a tattoo artist, as a business.
You know, we have that sign, free tattoos for Canada players, and now Kone's injured, so what better time for him to come and get a tattoo?
Copenhagen Zoo is riding high after welcoming a 3rd baby giraffe in as many months.
This year's been unusual in the sense that we've had 3 giraffe births since March, and that means that all of our 3 female giraffes have given birth.
The zoo in Denmark's capital is part of an international giraffe breeding program. The species is not endangered, but it remains vulnerable. The giraffe population has declined significantly in the wild over the past few decades.
That trend has made zoo births like this all the more important. Oh, and if you didn't know, a group of giraffes is called a tower. And when a wild herd is on the move, it's a journey of giraffes.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
I didn't know that.
New. Yeah. Thanks for being with us tonight on CBC Vancouver News. You can watch this newscast on our free CBC Gem app, as well as on YouTube and on our website, cbc.ca/BC.
I'll have your next local news at 11 o'clock right after the National. Have a good night.
Good night.